Good morning. This is day 13 of my first payout challenge. It is Wednesday, July 3rd here on the NASDAQ, and price is already moving. I went ahead and started the recording here, and just wanted to kind of take a look. We got pre 930 is coming for a push up here. So just sitting down into the charts, and I got a somewhat neutral bias. I'm feeling like the higher time frames are telling me, continuation on the daily. However, the lower time frames are telling me a little more bearish delivery. That said, it's kind of all-time high market. I'm not exactly stoked on getting overly bearish and shorten all-time highs. So kind of want to get a little bit more info here and see what happens. There's Wednesday's no news. So 930 will be the volatility driver. And kind of wondering, is this the stop hunt? So there's all these fair value gaps here that could turn potentially to inversions, kind of thing. And I guess the thing is I'm not seeing any higher time frame levels to consider this short from. One hour, 15-minute fair value gap. Continuation play. I would much prefer this if it tapped into something more significant. Also 3 minutes to open, so there's something to be said for waiting for the open. And the case down here too, like this long, I'm kind of eyeballing that, and just, we got midnight open, previous day equilibrium. I didn't have any, there's no higher time frame level for me to get in on down there. So what's it gonna do? I might wait till the open to get a little bit more info. I'm kind of wondering, if I had to make a guess, I wonder if it's going to be a one stage 930 again, and it's just going to kind of push higher up into these session highs right here. That's my thinking. So here is breaker. Now that's where I'm leaning. It doesn't mean that this wasn't the liquidity sweep and that it dumps lower at 932. That's totally possible. What I'm feeling like is either way, I don't have a trade. So I'm just kind of looking around here and seeing what I could consider. We got 1 minute till open, and there's this little volume imbalance here that's been inverted. Right there, little tiny one. Not too large, but those volume imbalances tend to really be a magnet for price. Here's so the 9 a.m. the 8 a.m. candle took the 7 a.m. candle's low, and the 9 a.m. is taking this candle's high. So there's the previous hour high. I guess that could be previous hour high. That could be shortable. In this 4-hour fair value gap, last I checked, there was bearish SMT up here in the highs. Yo, good morning, Chris. Yeah, buddy, get yourself some food in that belly. And I always find I struggle to trade when I'm hungry. All right, we got 930 open and just dumping. So that's probably the Judas, probably. This whole thing I see as an inversion. And a breaker. So now the one thing I've learned is 930 lately is tended to just be the move. So I'm curious, is today going to be, is this the stop hunt? We have SMT, volume imbalance that was rejected from. This is an aggressive move. I almost just marketed in on close, but I was hoping for some kind of retracement up into this level. Exactly what 930's been doing lately. I would consider that if I had gotten a retracement. I'm not seeing right there. That's what I was looking at. That breaker failed. Either way, it's kind of, feel like I'm kind of forcing it any which way I look at it. Look at that distribution level. Huge, 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 huge. So regular trading hours has been filled, and it's just going at tapped Asia low. That's a 1 hour volume imbalance. So that short idea, valid. There's no way for me to act on it. Clean this up a little bit. I thought 930 was going to distribute one-sided. We got two-sided delivery here for 930. So that was the Judas, possibly. This could be the Judas too. Some days there are double and triple Judases. We got the Asia low there. 1 hour volume imbalance, providing some support. We got a new day opening gap down there. Question is, I have SMT down there below midnight open. So, you know, to look at a long kind of risk, would that be 156 ticks? So Asia low was taken. Got some high probability time-based liquidity was swept. We have a bullish SMT forming. This fair value gap is too huge to use the whole thing. I'm considering using this lower gap if it inverts for a long. The criteria, we have equal highs above. We tapped into a volume imbalance on the 1 hour. It matches the overall bullish thesis for the higher time frames, but it's against the narrative I have on the medium time frames, like the 4 hour. There's just I don't see what's down here that needed mitigated for bullish continuation. Let's see what some of the other indices are doing. We got the ES. Obviously, we got bearish SMT up in here, I'm assuming. Yeah, with YM. Bunch of bullish SMTs starting to form. All right, so 9 seconds. This is getting to be a bit of a V-shaped recovery. SMT low swept. Didn't close above that. I was hoping for a stronger closure than that. But that's a nice push. Just didn't close above this candle. So tapping into here, is this the short? Is this a retest for the short? Or is this the long? $15-minute looks a little more like longs. candle's gonna not close above. Ooh, it's gonna be a tough call, boy. And it's closing above, so I'll go in for one.
Filled.
Holy moly. Huge stop, 156 ticks. So this is one of those things, like, I guess it's always the case. I'm either on sides or off sides, right? I see it more bullishly than bearishly, but I could be totally wrong. Reminds me of yesterday's trade too, where the gap was too huge to really consider the whole thing. So I had to use just the lower fair value gap, the inversion. I don't know if I quite have rules for that. I tend to try to grab the whole thing for extra confirmation, but lately it's just having these massive inversions. And actually, if I think about what I was watching last night, so is this the manipulation? Because here is this fair value gap distributed through this low. So that right there, I'm curious to see if I'm off sides because of that clue anyways. This guy right here. Therefore, I should expect the lows to be ran out. Looking at it that way, that lines up with kind of what I'm seeing on the 1 hour. But I haven't studied that in depth yet, so I can't exactly account on that being accurate until I've studied it further. So what then? Looking at the 15-minute, liquidity down here was swept. I was looking at this. I was thinking like, oh, well, what's a market maker thinking? All the buy stops up here have been pushed pretty hard, so that was leaving a whole bunch of sell stops. Saw that at 9:30. You can see this arrow here. I was expecting delivery down into some of these sell stops, or the sell side liquidity, and because the sell stops are up here, the sell side liquidity down here, expecting delivery down into there is the Judas, or then would obviously likely anticipating continuation higher. At this point, I think I can push up the stop some. If it comes down below this gap, I'm probably wrong. So I'm going to move it to at least consequent encroachment of this wick right there, the center point of this wick, middle line of that wick. Kind of hovering around midnight open. So here would be a 3-minute order block bearishly. But just seeing all that liquidity taken, I don't feel like it's going further down. Asia low. There are equal lows down here, relative equal lows. I wish I could have got in further down in here. Relative equal lows above, I think I would count that as still London high, 5:03 a.m. So session high is still intact up there in my opinion. So price is not pushing through that fair value gap. Nice strong distribution lower. So at this moment, there's this volume imbalance down in here. I could see it coming down to this and then continuing possibly, but I don't want to see much of a closure, like a tap into that and a nice response. Anything much below that and I'm offside. Got an IFVG reversal trade. We have a 1 hour volume balance. We have SMT. We're in a macro. Asia liquidity. Taken. We have London and equal highs target. That's the trade idea right there. So I'm probably off sides here. I don't typically enter on the retests like that. So for me, here's this bearish breaker. So that would have been a viable short. Also seeing some trendline liquidity right there. High probability target. So let's check out ES and YM. So bullish SMT is forming right through here with ES, which is nice. I'll take it. Anything to suggest a bullish delivery for now would be obviously in favor for me. The bullish SMT. Not that it has to. It can certainly get violated. So here's a bearish SMT2 right up there at the top. But this is more recent, this bullish SMT. So did that bearish SMT send price back down to this volume imbalance before pushing higher? Or is it just bearish? Judging by the closure below this inversion, I'm assuming bearish delivery now. I'm assuming this stop's going to get run. Equal lows right down in here. But I'm assuming bearish delivery. Tiny fair value gap got inverted. That is a short model for me. There's that little inverted fair value gap. Let's see here. It's gonna probably tap my stop. Go take it. Here we go. Alrighty, so offsides on that. So right there was a breaker inversion. Wasn't a little bit, wasn't anything I could have gotten in on right there. All right, so just wait and see. Get some more information. Offsides on that one. Still have this liquidity up in here. So what then? What are we looking at? 15 minutes delivering to more of the sell side. These equal lows right there, just taken. Right there, relative equal lows. Oh, there's a tailless 1 hour candle, isn't there? Oh no, it's got a tail. There's those relative equal lows. So is this the London high a day? I was kind of questioning that up in here. So on the 5 minute over here, likely going to have this gap here. See, here's a gap there. Like yesterday, is it wanting one level deeper? This is exactly what happened to me. It tapped into my level, came for one level deeper, and then that was the long. What's order flow telling me? Let's see here. So the 1 hour pushing up into this gap and getting rejected. Bearish order flow. Here's this volume imbalance. It's the only PD array down in here. It's already been used once, twice right there. But a strong closure on this 1 hour above this volume imbalance would indicate higher prices on the 1 hour form. In terms of this range we're in, we're a little bit in the discount. All right, one more shot at this long. Going over here. That's a better looking inversion. IFVG. Have high probability liquidity taken. Have a higher time frame level, which is 1 hour volume imbalance. There's SMT. We have high probability targets. London full highs. So we'll see. Maybe I'm married to a bias right now. I don't know. But either way, it's a coin toss. I won't know the outcome of these trades. You know, it's a distribution that we cannot predict. And so let's just take the trade and see what happens. Let's see here. So looking here, you know, previous day candle tapped into this fair value gap. So for me, I just would consider bullish delivery from there and consider the previous day high as the target. unless this is the reversal for a while and price is turning around, in which case I'm going to be off sides for a day or two, as it wants bearish delivery, and I'm favoring long delivery. And with the NQ, it's like a 65% likelihood of a bullish delivery every day. So you're typically on sides if you're taking longs, but there are these weird periods where it's transitioning like that where you are totally off sides. So coming back into here, this inversion fair value gap has been balanced with this kind of like lagging delivery. I'm anticipating the stop's going to be run to. So closed above, marketed in, got a little, got a okay entry right there. Got these relative equal highs right in here. Well, I don't know. We'll find out. Pull up ES and YM and see what they're doing. Ooh, ES is delivering pretty strongly, bearishly. YM, same thing. And these two are actually in sync. It's NQ that's lagging behind a little bit. So we got this consolidation. I guess it's about the same in the ES and NQ. The ES has a little more sell side. So there's an SMT down in there, which is in favor for my long. However, as I just saw, the SMT didn't matter. And YM is just fallen, which it's been doing lately. It's just been, it's actually usually, in my opinion, leading the charge. So that's an indication for me that at this moment I'm likely off sides. But we shall see. Going over here. So really for me, it's this 1 hour volume imbalance down in here. 6 minutes to close on this 1 hour. So I'm anticipating that this was where it wanted to go. It wanted to take this low right there, these equals right here, volume imbalance coming up, and then it'll go for this liquidity up in here. That's what I'm anticipating. But this could also be the start of more downside delivery. So in the case of the 4 hour chart here, 2 a.m. candle, did it sweep liquidity up in here for continuation to the downside? There is a bearish breaker on the 4 hour confirmed. I'm anticipating that to fail because of this SMT, this low is swept, expecting continued bullish delivery until proven otherwise. But it could also be that this is the exact turnaround point where bullish delivery, right in this fair value gap, this candle here, is starting to be respected. And so that's kind of where I'm a little hesitant, just recognizing that this particular candle we're in could start a cascading effect of further sell-side delivery, which, okay, cool, I was off sides for 2 days. That's fine. And then I can start looking at maybe some of these lows down in here. But for the moment, I would anticipate this to be institutional buying. And then same here, even on the 15, with all of this sell side, or this liquidity down in here on the sell side being taken. But who knows? It's starting to look like the delivery is going to be bearish. So I would have expected it to have moved if it was going to move. This is a nice rejection down in here. So really shouldn't have much reason to come down in here at all if it's going to deliver bullishly. So we'll see. macro. So I guess I really don't like to take two trades in the same macro, because if I'm off sides, I can do exactly this. Yesterday it worked out fine where I got stop hunted and then took a long and was on sides. But I feel like for me, oh, look at that coming. Unless that's a stop hunt, which I don't think it is. I think it's going to deliver down here. Is there any reason I should adjust my stop? Might as well. A few ticks isn't going to change much. And it could come down here for this low and then continue pushly. Good. I don't think it's gonna. I think I'm off sides, just judging by how it's responded here. It is building up liquidity up in here, but maybe that's for a later time. Kind of what I'm seeing up in here is this liquidity, the session high up there. We have 3 minutes till the next 1 hour candle. So thinking in terms of the power of 3, but the hourly opens on the chart. Here's the 9 a.m. open, accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, producing a bearish 1 hour candle. And seeing where this 1 hour closes will help indicate the bias closure below this. And for me, that's likely confirmed bearish delivery. 15, it just took those equals, this tailless candle, and then this new day opening gap, kind of using that for gauging order flow as well. And that is also the 4 hour candle closing here in a minute and a half. But what I do like is this 4 hour candle swept those lows. What about you, Chris? Are you in a trade right now, or are you still eating your steak and eggs? Yep, offsides. I'm assuming offsides. Just kind of grinding lower. Coming for me. Coming for me. And I'm out. Cool. I am totally offsides. So then, that answers that. Totally offsides. 2 attempts at the long. And the delivery was bearish. So here is version. Unless this is a 3 drives pattern, which would make me laugh and feel a thing or two. If this 3 drives pattern then produced bullish delivery, and then I was right, I'd feel that. Kind of like YM here is creating a reversal. YM, we'll see what it does. Is this any SMT here? Not very clear. So this is in 1, 2, that's, yeah, it's not clear to me. So I guess I'm going to sit on my hands. And over here, so this 4-hour candle took this liquidity. This 4-hour candle, this new one took that candle's liquidity. So this is like, for me, this is the absolute line in the sand for bullish delivery. For me, not saying it couldn't go lower and still deliver bullishly. But definitely starting to wonder if this is so like, here's a 4-hour change in state of delivery, 4-hour breaker, bearish breaker. Is that going to actually start to be respected? 4-hour volume imbalance right here. So zooming out a little bit, looking kind of the week as a whole, new week opening gap in the weekly Sunday 12 a.m. open. Been fighting with it all yesterday and today. Dumped below it. So kind of looking a little more bearish on this chart here for me. I would have expected better response. Would have expected this low to be swept and a little more of a push, but it can do it. Looking here at the daily chart, possibly gonna do a further dig down into here. This is where I was anticipating bullish delivery coming back down into here, so expecting that this was low for the week, pushing up. Tuesday low of the week. Back over here. So this was the trade, this short, this breaker up in here, right in here. I don't typically take retracements entries, like when they get this many candles away and they've swept major liquidity. Asia low is swept. So that's where I was long biased to seeing Asia low swept and tapping into here. That made me question. So just is. Tailless candle right there. Zoom out a little bit. Stuff. See what we got going on. London high of the day. More than likely. Got these equal lows right in here. On the 5-minute, this still hasn't balanced out down in here. So it's totally possible it could come down into discount and long from there, but I wouldn't have a trade. So then what do we do? We got, what is it, 10:06, so 4 minutes left in this macro. So here would be this fair value gap currently providing resistance. Is this the 3 drives pattern? 1, 2, 3 for delivery bullish? Probably not. I would like to see a V-shaped recovery like on this inversion. Nice V-shaped, you know, it closed above in just a couple candles. This liquidity down here has all been swept right until there. They're going to go for these lows. Super aggressive move down. Is there going to be any kind of retracement back up? That fair value gap never was created. 5 minute. Also, this 5 minute breaker is here. There's a little tiny gap here on the 5. So this whole week, so basically Monday, the 9:30 open pushed up here, created a new all-time high, and I wasn't in anything. I was long down here, but I went to break even and missed this entire move. But noting, ever since 10 a.m. Monday morning, the delivery's been bearish. And so I was offsides yesterday, and I was offsides today. Really don't like shorting NQ. I mean, look at that. The daily chart, right? Are you gonna, I mean, certainly some people are talented enough to, but I'm not gonna short this. It's not my thing. Oh, looking over here. Is this the 3 drives pattern? So technically within the macro, I'm not going to take it. Not interested. But there's also the 10 a.m. reversal. Nice liquidity sweep on that candle right there. Curious, was there any is there any short entries that I just didn't see? Look at the YM. Like I was saying earlier, finding that YM is leading the pack. ES and YM seem to be correlating. NQ, often La La Land, doing its own thing, which it kind of tends to do lately. So the pattern NQ has also been in the last few sessions, has been a dump on open typically wherever the 9:30 candle closed, you were on side by just, you could have marketed in on this candle. Today is also, this has happened the last 4 days, I think. You could have marketed whichever direction this candle was going. If it was a bearish candle, you could have marketed short right there, and you would have been on sides for 2R. That's a new pattern I'm noticing, so I obviously only considered it slightly into my analysis, which is why I still took a long against that data point. But I've also been noticing it playing out day after day for the last 4 days. So that's a super interesting thing. And then also the last number of days, I feel like NQ is distributed right out of the gate, and then typically a little larger than this, and then just grinded and consolidated for the rest of the session. It provided some opportunities, yes, but as traders, do we really want to be in on this kind of price action? And for me, kind of like, I think starting to see it right into here, like I anticipated this to be the stop hunt of the stop hunt, and I took the long, and that wasn't it. And so now that I'm kind of seeing this continued grind lower, I'm not interested in anything. But I don't know. How did anyone watching do? Anyone take a trade out there? Anyone on sides and catch that short? Out here a little bit, just kind of seeing what's going on. Interesting. This is such a nice. This looks nice to me. Like it looks nice for a long. All of these equal lows mitigated. High probability targets. But that's not how it's going to deliver today. Maybe this gap right here was the clue. This 4-hour gap. I saw it closing above. Therefore, I was expecting some kind of Judas down and continue further. But instead, not respecting this gap might have been the clue for bearish delivery. But now this bearish 4-hour breaker right here. I thought this was going to be invalidated today. It is not. Forming a fair value gap right in here. So there will probably be some kind of retracement into this gap, I'm guessing, or delivery lower. Oh, look at that. Is this an inversion? Another fake out to the upside? So close above that inversion breaker, 10:16 time wise. What are the other indices doing? Let's see. So there is again yet another bullish SMT down in here. Now there are no higher time frame levels for me, and that's one of my criteria is having like a 1 hour, 4 hour PD array, fair value gap, for example. Oh, there's the long, right? And now it's actually looking good. But I don't have anything to get in on down here. This the 10 a.m. fair value gap. So this gap in this candle here is significant. It's also in a swing point. You can see how well that fair value gap has held up till just now, till this yesterday. Probably something, there's nothing on the 15. This was the volume imbalance I was using for my longs, assuming that was PD array we're going to see some response off of. Totally offsides. See what this long is doing, the breaker. So some nice distribution up. You know, keep manipulating. And time-wise, it's 10 a.m. So possible it's a 10 a.m. reversal coming up for some of this AM liquidity, right? The shorts are in profit. Super interesting. Like I was looking for a short right here when I saw this information, couldn't get anything in on it. That was just too aggressive of a candle. I was hoping for a closure somewhere down in here and being able to get a limit order fill on a wick up, and didn't get that. And then I ended up being off sides. That's okay. All right then. So I feel like I'm going to log off, because if I'm offsides twice, I'm continually seeing this is bullish and bearish at the same time. Being offsides is, in my experience, I feel like when I get offsides, I tend to be offsides for a while. And I think this is one of those exact periods where I'm noticing, I noticed it at a bunch of backtesting too, where the market starts turning. That's where I struggle a whole bunch. Kind of like what's going on right now is that exact kind of thing, I feel like. And so I'm wondering if we're going to start seeing more bearish delivery for the rest of the week. And so therefore, kind of wondering how I'm going to fare for the rest of the week. Yesterday I was offsides. Today, offsides as well. That's usually not the case for me. Usually I track over on I track the data behind being onsides versus offsides, and it's like 80% onside. 80% of the time my draw on liquidity is correct, a little less so my narrative, but typically I know where prices go. And here this week I'm seeing I am just offside. So 2 losses in a session means I'm done. So can't really take any more trades according to my rules. A little bit of a gray area because I'm using such little risk on this account that I could take a bunch of trades. But I think it's more important to stick to my rules, which is 2 trades per session. And even then, I think I kind of pushed my rules a little bit because I think these were two in the same macro. Yeah, so right there, I actually did break my rules. Two losses in one macro. Typically, I would wait until the next macro before taking another trade. But I noticed how good looking this was, and I was like, okay, that's good looking. It's not just like I'm trying to force a trade. Like this one, little ugly because price, has this whole imbalance up in here. It didn't close above, so yeah, there's this inversion here, but this whole thing hasn't been inverted. Where in this leg of the price movement, this fair value gap was inverted. So I was like, okay, that looks good, and I took it. Obviously, it wasn't the right decision. I was off sides. So yeah, to wrap up this day 13, mixed feelings. I feel like I'm surprised at how poor I'm doing, to be honest. I haven't traded this bad in a long time. And what I mean by that is even in previous funded accounts, in my back testing, I typically have between like a 50 to 60% win. And I think in this challenge so far, I was looking at it last night, it's like a 33% win. So I'm definitely, and it's lasted longer than I thought. So the first couple weeks of the challenge were a little on the dicey side. And I was figuring, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm just getting into the groove, and that's fine. And the all-time high market conditions, and so be it, And I was figuring by week 3, which is this week, I would get more into the groove. And that hasn't been the case. And I'm noticing that's kind of starting to make me feel things. And I don't have a solution as to what to do about it yet. I'll have to figure that out. Because go figure, I've been offsides all week. And one of the things that is positive, though, so that's the negative side. Positive side of it is I'm working through some of my demons. I'm working through some of the issues that I have had with trading, especially recently. I feel like trading earlier in this year kind of put some scar tissue in me. And so working through some of those issues now and presently has been helpful. If Chris is listening at all, he helped me kind of like this week talk about the breaking even thing. And what's happening is interesting is even I'm not breaking even, but I'm losing a lot. And so that's an interesting place to be for me because I'm not used to it. And usually when I break even, statistically 80% of the time it's a winning trade. And so I find it interesting that here I am not breaking even in these trades. I'm forcing myself to do that. I'm feeling a lot less like, feel the impulse a lot less to break even on the trades, which is good. But I'm also losing a lot, which is super interesting, right? So why is that flipped? Why is it my data has showed me, because I track all my trades, right? Or the vast majority of them. And I sat there and I looked at it and go, man, so many of these break-even trades were winning trades. And if I hadn't have broke even on that winning trade, then I wouldn't have lost that trade later on in the day, right? Go figure, as soon as I'm working through the not moving my stop to breaking even, I'm taking a whole bunch of losses. And I guess that's probably for a reason, right? Like it's probably to test me, probably to sit here and say, all right, fine. Are you really going to do what you say you're going to do? Are you okay with taking a bunch of losses because you're not breaking even? So maybe that's the season I'm in. Maybe this challenge is challenging me, and it's going to be harder than I thought versus easier than I thought. All the while I talk about this, noticing obviously the long play working out, right? I said I didn't take that. I wasn't going to take that, which was the right thing to do. And who knows, maybe it just stop hunts these equal highs and continues lower. But it is time for the reversal. And I just didn't have enough to dig into here. I still see it as more bearish than bullish because of not having a higher time frame PD array to tap into down there. So yeah, mixed feelings on the day. I'll have to sit here and think about it more and digest it a little bit more. Kind of like lean into the feeling, right? Like leaning into the feeling of disappointment, like surprised that I've lost so many trades in the last 3 weeks. So maybe I need to dig into the data, look at all the losers, see what's going on, and go from there. But anyways, I appreciate anyone who is watching. I hope you all have a blessed day. I hope you all were in the green and were on sides with some shorts, because I certainly wasn't.